Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to a special review. As I have established in some of my previous videos, I am a gamer, and I have always deeply appreciated the Street Fighter series. Not in a, how many frames and milliseconds does this combo take sort of super competitive fashion, just as fun fighting games. You may have even noticed that during my unmorphed vlogs at MomoCon.
I just beat Street Fighter 2. I've done it before, but not recently. Winner. What? I feel better now.
So imagine my surprise, and by surprise I more mean utter confusion, when mobile gaming company Enway announced that their excellent mobile fighting game for Power Rangers, Legacy Wars, was adding characters from the Street Fighter franchise. The move was done to celebrate two anniversaries at once, Street Fighter's 30th and Power Rangers' 25th. However, recently that cross-promotion took a big step forward as it was suddenly announced that Ryu, one of the primary hero characters in the franchise, was going to cross the streams and become a Power Ranger. How, fans wondered, and all of the companies involved were happy to explain with what I'm taking a look at today. So make sure those headbands are tied on tight, get that fireball ready to go, and let's take a look at the short film Power Rangers Legacy Wars, Street Fighter Showdown. I was tempted to start off with a so many seconds of logo sin like Cinema Sins, although they do combine them, so I have to give them a little credit for that. This not even 8-minute film was made by 4 different companies. Allspark Productions, that would be Hasbro, Lionsgate Games. The core storyline of Legacy Wars is based around the 2017 movie and uses characters from it, so yeah, Lionsgate is involved. Bat and the Sun, the incredibly popular fan film producer, and Enway, the company that makes Power Rangers Legacy Wars. There are then 2 more sponsorship credits. Qualcomm Snapdragon, an incredibly fast and new mobile phone processor, and G Fuel. Think Gatorade for esports, but don't compare the two. They're kind of touchy about that. We start things off with an evocative shot that we saw in this film's trailer, a ship on a bay sailing past the broken, wrecked remains of the original Megazord. We then meet Ryu, a famous Japanese martial artist from the Street Fighter games. He narrates that this is not his world, he's been brought here against his will, and now he's being hunted by the Power Rangers. The Dino Thunder Black Ranger, recognizably voiced by Jason David Frank, teleports in and tells Ryu that he dies tonight. Ryu says nobody's dying tonight, and the two of them fight. One of my comments on this film is going to be about fluctuating power levels, but I'm going to save that till the end. Ryu throws a Hadouken, an energy fireball, at the Ranger, knocking him back. Then Jen, the Pink Time Force Ranger, teleports in and attacks Ryu. I can't really tell if it was Erin Cahill doing Jen's voice. She's not unmorphed in the film at any particular point. But I will say, if it wasn't, it was somebody doing an incredibly good impersonation of her voice. Then Chun-Li, a Chinese martial artist also from the Street Fighter franchise, leaps in to attack Jen, then going back to check on Ryu. As she wonders who these Rangers are and why they want them dead, reinforcements arrive for the Rangers as the MMPR Red Ranger and the Phantom Ranger teleport in. The Street Fighters are now outnumbered. Ryu tells Chun-Li to stay focused, but then the two of them start glowing and are teleported away. They are teleported to some kind of ancient Japanese-looking temple on top of a cliff. The two of them are understandably confused as to what just happened, especially when Chun-Li spots a mural or statue, she calls it a statue, but it looked more like a painting to me, of Ninjor. Tommy walks up behind Ryu and says, "That's Ninjor," and Ryu instantly attacks him. Tommy somehow manages to get Ryu into a hold and says that he is not their enemy. Tommy asks Ryu if the name M. Bison means anything to him. Obviously it does. He's the main villain of the Street Fighter franchise. And it's kind of funny how I showed you that footage of my beating Street Fighter 2 as Ryu, since that ending seems to be treated as canon here, with Ryu saying that he defeated M. Bison. But no, not so fast. Gia from Megaforce walks in and gives us basically the backstory for the Street Fighter expansion, shall we say, to Legacy Wars. Rita Repulsa, it's never mentioned that it's the 2017 movie's version of Rita Repulsa, but knowing it from the game, it is, revived M. Bison and gave him more power.
What do we need? More power! Darn right, more power.
There's a cute little tongue-in-cheek gag here as Chun-Li asks what kind of name Rita Repulsa is, to which Tommy responds, what kind of name is M. Bison? Sometimes villains just have weird names. The Rangers explain that Rita wants to fully corrupt the morphing grid and then take over 2 dimensions, and if you're starting to think that this storyline is sounding a little bit familiar, as if those 2 dimensions are perhaps in danger, shall we say, I'll just say that you're not the only one. The fighters say that they can't allow M. Bison to be a part of this and have to stop him here and now. The Rangers agree, saying they have to stop Rita as well, but the first step in that plan is to rescue Ninjor. They've tracked Ninjor's energy signature to M. Bison's lair in this dimension, but they know that they can't take him on alone, hence asking the fighters for help. Tommy offers Ryu a power coin. In a very nice touch in the story, Gia sadly tells Chun-Li that Ninjor only had time to create 1 more power coin before he was captured, hence not having created one for her. I don't think this was really necessary, seeing as anybody that plays the game, and 90% of the people interested in this film are going to be people that have played the game, know that Chun-Li doesn't have a Ranger form in this game, but she would have felt left out in this story if they hadn't mentioned this, so kudos. Tommy asks Ryu if he can handle the power, and after a nod from Chun-Li, Ryu says they're in. We then cut over to what I'm presuming is M. Bison's lair, which is apparently near a destroyed nuclear power plant.
Now I'm radioactive! That can't be good!
We also see, sadly, that the Dragon Zord fared no better than the Megazord did, also defeated and nearly destroyed, although I happen to notice that only just now are its eyes fading out, so maybe there's just a little bit of residual power in its batteries? We'll see later on, maybe? Anyway, Bison has detected the approach of the team, calling them brave but foolish. As for Bison himself, I'll comment on Bison later. The team makes their way into what looks like an abandoned building, but I could presume had maybe been destroyed in previous battles, and finds Ninjor, defeated, laying on the ground and actually on fire. Tommy asks what was done to him, but in a decidedly non-Dudley Do-Right voice, Ninjor says it doesn't matter what happened to him, what matters now is stopping Bison. Ryu asks where Bison is, and then immediately finds out as Bison throws him to the side. Bison throws everyone around, actually, which is consistent with the idea that Rita has given him expanded power. He asks Ryu, bragging, how Ryu could possibly hope to defeat him with this additional power. But Tommy says he's not the only one that has new power. That's right, heroes. It's morphin' time. Tommy uses his original Green Ranger Dragon Zord powers. It just actually occurred to me right now while I was filming this that I didn't check if Tommy was using a Master Morpher. I don't believe that he was. Gia uses her caffeine-free vanilla Megaforce yellow powers, and Ryu pulls a Morpher out of absolutely nowhere since we're never seen that he was given one, and somehow knows what to call his powers, calling out Crimson Hawk and morphing into the Crimson Hawk, the Ryu Ranger. One detail that I really enjoyed about this fight scene is that Chun-Li has a tougher time than everyone else. You're probably thinking that that sounds incredibly unlike me, but hear me out on this. Chun-Li's the only one of them that isn't morphed. When she attacks him directly, she gets thrown around just like she was before. She does eventually land a lightning kick on Bison, but that's only after Tommy hit him. The other 3, it's more interchangeable, tit for tat, equal power levels. In what was really a cheesy moment for the tone of the film, but actually kind of fitting for Power Rangers, Tommy declares, "Everyone, together!" Tommy and Ryu charge up fireballs, Gia does as well, but after going into Super Mega Mode, even though we don't see the Ranger Key or the Morpher covered up by just like energy trails, I mean, seriously, did Hasbro insist to not have any Bandai toys on the set? That's not possible because she had a Gosei Morpher earlier anyway. And Chun-Li basically just stands there and watches this happen, despite the fact that she also has a fireball attack. M. Bison is thrown down to the lower floor, defeated. The Rangers take off their helmets, and Gia firmly establishes Tommy's new Bat in the Sun Ranger outfit in, at least this version of canon, by telling him it's nice new armor, and Tommy responding that it's an upgrade from Ninjor. Nice little touch there. Again, not necessary, but a nice touch. He tells Ryu that it was an honor to fight by his side, and I'm pretty sure this is at least the third time that we've heard Tommy tell someone it was an honor to fight by their side. But then Bison rises. He says not only does he have more power, he's been given an army that cannot be defeated. He starts summoning Power Rangers to his side. Mighty Morphin Red, RPM Silver, Mighty Morphin Blue, Wild Force Black, Ninja Storm Blue, Mighty Morphin Yellow, Dino Thunder Black, Lost Galaxy Pink, Robo Knight, Time Force Pink, and the Phantom Ranger. Tommy asks Ryu if he's ready for round 2, and Ryu says always. The two sides leap at each other, starting the attack. By the by, we also see that Dino Charge Purple is a part of M. Bison's army. We did not see her appear originally. However, to the film's credit, there were sounds of Rangers appearing, even as we cut to shots of the good guys reacting. And that's where this film ends, because that's where you come in, heroes. Grab your devices, pick your team, and join the fight.
The power is yours!
This was a really well-written story. Each of the characters felt real and fleshed out and respectful to their original iterations. Everyone involved got a decent amount of screen time and good characterization. Only Chun-Li really felt like she got shafted, and that wasn't as much that she didn't get enough screen time or lines. It's just the natural problem that she was the only one of the 4 that wasn't a Power Ranger. The suits looked absolutely fantastic. Gia's 2 Ranger suits looked the same as they ever did, and that's absolutely fine. They looked great. But Tommy's upgraded Bat in the Sun Green Ranger suit looked sharp, like it always does, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Ryu Ranger suit. I have to admit that the boxing gloves are a bit of a weird touch, and the name Ryu Ranger sort of implies that this is more the Ranger powers of Ryu himself than harnessing the powers of the Crimson Hawk that the coin is named after. In fact, the suit itself is a lot more white than it is crimson, but it's still a neat looking suit overall. I love the helmet. I dig it. And I was really surprised by how much story they managed to fit into a film that's not even 8 minutes long. It never felt rushed at any point, but it tells us a whole lot. How the Street Fighter characters were taken from their dimension and were being hunted by evil versions of the Power Rangers created by Rita, Ninjor being captured, Ryu becoming a Power Ranger, using those powers against Bison in a climatic fight. He reveals that he has an army, and there you go, all in that 8-minute time span. It does have a cliffhanger ending, but it's based on a fighting game with an open-ended storyline that they want you to go play after this, so that makes sense. I'm going to admit that this is going to sound a little nostalgia blind, kind of not my Bison, but the actor playing M. Bison in this film really didn't do it for me. I mean no offense to the man, he did a good enough job, and to be honest, I can't seem to find a cast list for this film, so I don't know what his name actually is. It's just that in my mind, especially at the age I am, if you are trying to play M. Bison, you're going directly up against Raul Julia's over-the-top, super campy performance in the Street Fighter movie that was actually his last Hollywood role before his death in 1995.
Come here prepared to fight a madman, and instead you found a god?
If I try to force myself to focus on Bison in this film, the performance wasn't too bad. He plays a Bison that comes off as restrained but power-hungry, confident to being braggadocious, but I'm sorry, I just can't. I actually think it would have been better if he had gone for that campy, over-the-top performance just like Julia. In fact, you could have thrown in the line that I just referenced in that cutaway, "You came seeking a madman, but instead you found a god," as a nice little reference. The acting of the others was pretty good, with Peter Jang reprising his role as Ryu from the Superpower Beatdown, and the actress that plays Chun-Li, again, I can't find a cast list, doing a good job as well. And being the type of reviewer that you know I am, there were tinier little details that I still noticed that could have been improved on. Where did Ryu get a morpher? We never see it handed to him, and we never see it explained to him that this is the Crimson Hawk power coin, so how did he know that? Why did we have to hide Gia's legendary morpher with CG when we saw her Megaforce morpher? Why did Ninjor's voice change so drastically? I mean, they're little, again, tiny details to be sure, and don't worry, I did not deduct for any of these this time, but I noticed them just the same. And this was the one I said I was going to mention, and I will admit this is a little difficult to avoid in things like this, but there were some fluctuating power levels that I found a little weird. As we start the film, Ryu fights the Black Dino Thunder Ranger and manages to hold him off. Okay, in this universe, Ryu is just as strong as a Power Ranger. Check, I will accept that. Later in the film, he attacks an unmorphed Tommy, and Tommy manages to hold him off. So what happened there? And I mentioned this made a little more sense, but it does still kind of apply here. Chun-Li gets tossed around by M. Bison at first, but then later on, she manages to land a lightning kick that knocks him back, despite him supposedly having increased power. They did actually seem to pay some attention to the power levels, who would be able to fight who at what power levels, and kudos for that, but some of it was still a little odd. All in all, I thought this was a fantastic film that told a great crossover story between these two long-standing franchises. My biggest compliment, as it usually is wondering when we get to see more. Street Fighter Showdown gets a 4 out of 5. And I do hope that we get to see more, because Zordon knows I'm not getting that Ryu Ranger in Legacy Wars unless I pay for him, and sorry, but I'm not doing that. That's going to do it for this special review of Power Rangers Legacy Wars Street Fighter Showdown. Thank you so much for watching. In the comments below, let me know what you thought about this film. Who's your favorite Street Fighter character? Who do you think would win in a fight between your favorite Street Fighter character and your favorite Power Ranger? Let me in the comments down below, let me know. Make sure to like the video by clicking that thumbs up button right down below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all of my videos, especially these kind of videos. Make sure you get your notifications set up so you get notified whenever I post little surprise videos like reviews of things like this that just pop up. And if you really liked this review and maybe you really want to encourage me to just go ahead and buy the Ryu Ranger, you can do that by heading to digitaltipjar.com/orangerangervid and tossing some tip change in my jar. Maybe I'll use that to get myself that Ryu Ranger because that helmet is fire! Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. Now I'm going to take this headband off. Ryu through, Ryu through 3 Hadoukens. The Dino Thunder Black Ranger, recognizably voiced by Jason by who? She checks on him, and then she checks on him, and she keeps checking. It's really kind of annoying. Gia comes in and gives us the backstory for the expansion. Farts! You like farts? Tommy asked Ryu if the name M. Bison means anything to him. Obviously it... They've tracked... Their team. He starts summoning Power Rangers to his side. Mighty Morphin Red, RPM Silver. Rangers leap at each other to attack. Because Lord knows I'm not getting in Legacy Wars without paying for it.